of the world.
Wow, we have an intro now. Um, that was pretty cool. Before we start, shout out to John at Fredward Mac for making that for us. Really cool. I'm glad we finally got it put together. And put together for what better episode than after that Derby win? I think that needs no introduction. Our quick introduction. We've got Ian, Hersto, and Dave, of course. Full panel for a big win. So I'll start it off with the guy to my left, Ian. How we feeling?
Hello, very, very well. I mean, how well can one feel after a win like that, you know? I mean, everything's going fine, everything's dandy. Coppa Italia final stretch. Everyone's got us as their favorites to win the league, so just keep on pushing.
Risto, back again for another win.
Well, you know me, I'm here after a win. Last week was a bit of an anomaly, but I have to get someone on the strings, and actually, I want someone to be excited when they see me. So I'm glad that I missed you, and you've missed me.
Yeah, I missed you for sure. You put the video together too for the intro. Really off on the fly. It was really really great. And Dave, got to get to explain in the background.
Hey, you already know, bro. Listen, as the rumors are getting more and more, uh, they coming out more often, and then we saw his performance 2 days ago against Arsenal. He wasn't too good. They booed him when he was being subbed off. So yeah, I'm pushing my little agenda here. Maybe we can get him on a very very cheap deal, or even like on a dry loan that we would have to pay anything. So yeah, that's who I'm doing in my background right now.
And dropping messages again. Still on this year's shirt. I mean, what better way to have it? So,
Absolutely.
where do we start? I mean, I guess we start with the win, obviously. But yeah, what do you guys want to talk about from it? I'll start with Hristo since you're the rare appearance these days. I want to get your thoughts.
It was an amazing win, honestly. I watched the game as we all did. It was I think before the game started, I was nervous in a sense. I thought that we would win the match, but it's still a derby. It's still a bunch of guys that can play hot and cold, as we've seen in the past few months. But it seems like they're on the right track now, and they're winning when it matters the most. We saw a team that was determined to win, determined to showcase their ability, and most importantly, to win the derby and to help the team go in the final of Coppa Italia. The day after we played, Juventus won, and I'm always down for an Inter-Juventus match, and especially for a trophy. It comes in a few weeks' time. We'll talk about that, but for the match about the match with Milan, I think we played an amazing match. The goal by Lautaro, the first one, was extraordinary. I was excited to see him start, to see him, get the ability to score. And he got so many chances. He converted, some of them, which hasn't been the case so far in the season. But he's scoring when it matters the most, at least in this match and the semifinal of the Coppa Italia. There are a lot of games that are very important for us in the coming weeks. Everything is in our hands. Win every single match. You win 2 trophies. You get the ability to not only win the league, to win the Coppa Italia, to showcase the world and the Serie A that you are here to dominate. There's some amazing news about, as Dave said, with Lukaku, at least for us. Dybala rumors, are everlasting, and I don't know. I just like the situation that we are in right now, and hopefully it stays like this, because only good things are coming. Because Our matches are very easy compared to Milan's. I think I would rather play, I don't know, Udinese away than Lazio away than Sassuolo away. So um, hopefully it continues, and I'm confident that we are winning the league, especially because it's in our own hands. So we make our destiny, and the schedule is not that difficult. So I'm here, and I cannot hear you guys say about a thing or two about the derby. So we can latch off that.
Yeah, it's finally, a win that I feel like has been coming in this matchup. And it was the Lautaro Martinez matchup guy that we've been on the back of for a long time here.
Yeah.
I know Dave has an affectionate nickname for him, so I want to get Dave's thoughts on Lautaro today or this week.
Yeah, I mean, as we were saying on the latest episode, the previous episode, I mean, Bam Bam Martinez, as I like to call him, he's a streaky player. Luckily for us, he broke his duck against Spezia, and we did say that hopefully he can go on to score against Milan and maybe Roma as well, because that's how he's been. Since he's arrived at the club, he'll have three, four great matches where he seems to score everything coming his way, and then he'll have a couple months of being anonymous, like we've seen again this season. So we've seen good Lotaro and bad Lotaro this season. Um, but to focus on the match, this was probably one of his. I don't know. I'm not a guy that really remembers performances like that, but I've been trying to remind myself, but I think this might be probably his best game as an Inter player. Where the first goal, that finish, that's at this point that's a patented Lotaro finish, because he's a guy that he seems to be to strike volleys better than he strikes the ball when the ball is on the floor next to him. So yeah, he caught it perfectly. We've seen him catch him so many times, and even though Magnan was able to get a hand on it, he was not able to stop it because that's how much power he had going on. And on the second goal, again, that was another perfect goal. Well, perfectly timed run. I guess from our perspective, we could say that was a perfectly timed run, but some others could say that Tomori pretty much screwed it up on this point, because there was no reason for him to try to step up right there. But in any case, perfectly timed run. He received the ball and that chip finish as well. That's not something that we're used to seeing from Lotaro. That's a guy that we know that he usually. That's why I call him Bam Bam. Like, he doesn't think, he just tries to smash the ball past you and stuff like that. And he seems to find the lucidity on that second goal to just do that little dink over Manya. So that was a world class finish. So
The
that probably tells
composure on
you.
that goal was amazing. I just want to add that the composure
No, no.
was immense.
No, absolutely. And the reason why we have to keep mentioning it is because that's the complete opposite of what Lotaro is known for. Like, he's a guy that we know usually lacks composure in front of goal. So kudos to him. Just like I can get on his back when he's playing badly, I can definitely come on here and say kudos to him when he's playing well. Unfortunately, this is we know that he has all this in him. I'm not sure anybody is surprised from what they saw out of Lotaro, but it's a matter of showing it consistently. That's been the issue we've had with him, and I don't know. I'm sure right now most of us are on Inter Twitter or like kind of flip flopping. We're not sure if we want to sell him anymore. We want to wait and see now. So I see a lot of guys really changing their stance, which is normal because of course we're reacting as things are happening in real time. But to finish up on the match, we can't talk about the match without talking about Gosens. Because it's been a running joke here on Inter Twitter that a no matter what Gosens does, he can't play because of how great Perisic has been, and rightly so. Perisic starting with that tackle, that goal saving tackle on Kessie, which led to the second goal, by the way. So that's a guy that every pod we're saying we're mentioning all the good things that he's doing for the team. He's having the season of his life, in my opinion. Even at Bayern, when he won the treble, he was a bench player. He was not really that involved in the team. I think this is probably the best season we've seen Perisic play as a pro because he's consistently good. even on the days where he was playing winger for us, he would have good Perisic, bad Perisic. But now we can almost expect him to be one of the best players on the pitch every time we see him on the team sheet. So kudos to Perisic, and also goal sense, as I was saying previously. I'm sure we're all happy to see him get a goal, and maybe that'll encourage him to keep working, to not get discouraged, and then know that his chance will come. So all in all, it was a great performance overall. We hadn't beaten Milan at all season. They beat us the last game in the Serie A. So I wanted to get that win under our belt, and to get to do it that way with a 3-0 that can have a negative effect on their psyche and the league. That's all you could have asked for. I'm sure right now they're trying to figure out what's going on. There's probably infighting and stuff like that. So hopefully it just sends them into a downward spiral.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen in years past that a Derby loss can be the straw that breaks a camel's back for Milan. So
Hmm.
that could be the case again. I mean, we'll have to see. And either way, I mean, Inter still has to hold up their end of the deal. Get the job done against Roma, get the job done against Bologna. You get
Yeah,
those two done, you're in the lead. You're really in the driver's seat then.
yeah,
Um, but I want to go back to the strikers' performance. I know we've talked about Lautaro, but I mean, the guy that made it possible, at least for the second goal of his, was Correa. And I mean, we've seen the difference that it's made having Joaquin Correa on the pitch. And I mean, it just pays off. He keeps growing into these matches. This was the first one where he looked fully, confident, like he was going to produce something. And he gets that really nice assist. I mean, he slid that ball through perfectly. As it happened on screen and I was watching, I was like, wow, that's a great ball from Perisic. I know he can do that, but we don't see that too often. And then I was like,
yeah.
oh, wait, that's Correa. And then, I mean, of course, that's like the second counterattack goal of the season, and both of them have come from those two linking up. So, it's just more positivity to see that this team has turned a corner, personnel wise, mentality wise, form wise. I mean, just everywhere across the pitch. I mean, Darmian started; he had a good match. Um, everybody else was pretty much, it was standard starters, and they all performed the way that we expect them to perform. And I
Hmm.
mean, I didn't expect us to get a goal that early. That really set the tone for me, but I was also a little cautious because we've gone up in each of the last two derbies, and one was a draw and one was a loss. So
Yeah.
once we got the second and especially the third, I mean, it was just cruising. You could see it in the team's body language as well. That early goal really did make all the difference, and credit to Lautaro. I think he's one of the three best strikers of the ball in this team when he gets it the way he wants it. Because if you give Brozovic that bouncing ball on the edge of the box, there's no way it's not going top corner.
Yep.
Or if you give Chalanolu the ball, how he wants it. But yeah, other than those two guys, no one hits the ball like Lautaro can hit it.
Lautaro, I agree.
But
Well, since we're kind of bouncing off each other and we're on Lautaro now, I guess let's ask the question. I'm sure everybody in the comments want to know as well. Where do you guys stand on a possible Lautaro sell? Has the performance affected you guys in any way? Let us know.
for me, if he's got to go, he's got to go. I mean, he's
Mhm.
not as irreplaceable as the guys that we lost last offseason. So if he were to go, I wouldn't feel as bad as I felt when it was Hakimi going, when it was Lukaku going. Even though Lautaro is one of the longer standing guys at the club, I mean, I could look at it and be like, yeah, thanks for everything you've done. You finally got those Barca links again. I mean, if you really want to go to a team fighting for Europa League that bad, I mean, you can go ahead. But yeah, I mean, if he's got to go, he's got to go. But if this is what we can get out of him consistently now, I'm also very happy for him to stay because I mean, what's Inter without an Argentinian striker somewhere?
It's,
Good
I
shout.
think that it all depends of what we do this summer. If we find a striker, not saying Lukaku, but like Lukaku, of who Lautaro can play off, because we know that Lautaro is pretty hot doo doo. If he only has like if he has to take the ball, carry it, progress it, do something with it, dribble with it, because each time he has like more than 2 or 3 seconds to think, he just loses the ball, fumbles it, dribbles himself into spaces that no one can that he can get out of. So if you
Mhm.
find someone to do that instead of him, like Correa did against Milan, just hand it to him on a silver platter, because when Lautaro just gets the chance to get the ball, one touch, two touches, maybe shoot, I think that's fine. But if he still is like the primary striker going forward, I don't think it's going to work out. But we saw with the partnership with Korea, if Korea can stay fit, or if we can find someone else who can do what Korea does but better, that isn't injury prone, that's a whole nother discussion on who to sell this summer. Then I think Lautaro is off the table for me for that. But like I said, all depends on who we recruit.
I don't
Okay.
think one game can change anyone's perspective, and we shouldn't be, prone to that, because there are a lot of players that we can get that can produce like 12 to 15 goals a season in Serie A. We are known to have great strikers, and I don't think we should settle with anything less than that. I think Lautaro has the ability. I think we can all agree, and he has had the ability to be one of the best strikers in the league and more than that. But so far, he hasn't showed any signs, at least this season. He's been scoring goals against smaller opponents, and with the exception of this game, he was bullied by every single defender that you can consider, great. Let's say. So it all depends on who we can get with that money. I fully trust Beppe, and I think they will make a great choice and a great decision in the summer, whether he is able to be sold or not. Um, but the price that I've seen going around was 60, 70, 80 million. That's a lot of money post COVID era. I think we can get someone to replace him. And I've seen some reports in the past few days that Dybala coming is not linked to Lautaro leaving, but instead to Sanchez leaving, which, Sanchez has like 7 million season salary, 7 million euros per season,
Mhm.
and that's quite a lot of money. And we've seen Dybala, ask for 8 to 10 million. So you pay, let's say, the top price would be 10 million a season, and you get an amazing player for that money. I like Dybala. I'm not like over the moon with that because he is injury prone. He has been in the past few years, but Lautaro leaving has a lot to do with who's going to replace him. And I do trust Pepe. And if let's say Atletico or Barca are willing to pay those 80 millions, you know, good luck to him. We survived without Lukaku this season, and Lukaku was fucking immense for us last
Yeah.
season. He was the most crucial player that we had, and
I
we
mean,
will will probably win the league without him. So everyone is replaceable, as Mike said, but I do trust the board to make decision
Not
for us.
everyone, not everyone. There are still irreplaceable guys in this team, but
yeah, yeah.
striker wise, yeah, 100%. But Skriniar, uh, Brozovic, those guys can't go.
Yeah, I agree. Barella either because he does a lot, but I see most of us we're on the same page. Ian is waffling a little bit, talking about depending on who we replacing him with, who we find and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess I'm on the same page as well. The match 2 days ago against Milan, if anything, the way I joke saying it, but the way I feel is, if anything, it's raising its price to me, But if we can get a team like Arsenal, Tottenham, Atletico, I don't even say Barcelona anymore because the whole Barcelona thing was because he wanted to play with Messi, and that ship has sailed, So pretty much those three teams, I said Spurs, Arsenal, and maybe Atletico. If they can come 70 or plus, we can make something happen and bring in Dybala. And for those saying, I know, I saw that report as well saying that Dybala would pretty much be a straight replacement for Sanchez. I just can't see it, especially in our financial situation. Sanchez being on the bench as one of our or highest paid players, that was an anomaly. That was something that I'm sure that the board can't wait to get rid of. So we're not gonna repeat that again. We're not just gonna bring another guy as a top five earner just to be a rotational player. So I think maybe they see it as an opportunity to fix the wage bill a little bit. Send Sanchez away, bring in Dybala on his wages, and make Dybala a starter. That's what I would see. If anything, they probably bring a cheaper backup. That's how I picture it. If I can have it my way, would probably have Lukaku and Dybala starting as our strikers next year. And that's a pipe dream. I know what Lukaku looks like. I know what he hasn't been good, but I feel like the same situation come back to Italy after all the banter that he's had to deal with, after all the abuse, fully motivated, wanting to prove a point. We could definitely benefit from that. So yeah, that's personally my pipe dream. Nothing personally wrong against Lotaro, but let's be honest here. We're adults. We understand the situation of the club. We've been told that we're probably gonna have to make a sacrifice. So yeah, Lotaro is gonna have to be it because the VAR is probably not gonna be enough, and I'm not willing to sell anybody else.
Just one question. I want to go around the table.
Mhm.
What are the chances of Lukaku coming back to Inter? Either alone or like I just want to hear your opinion. The chances of him coming back to Inter.
I mean, it's not like any of us we're not sources or anything like that. We don't know the ins and outs of what's going on. But I feel like it's I used to say it as a joke as far as Benter goes, like, yeah, you left us, now look at you, like we don't even want you back type of shit. But now it's looking very, very possible. It's looking very likely. Well, I'm not gonna say very likely. It's looking doable. It does look like we're gonna hold all the cards because uh, every minute they play Lukaku is the leverage slipping out of their hands and into ours. So we're just gonna let them know, hey, listen, this is a guy clearly is not working out. He's disgruntled. That he's not getting along with his teammates. It's a big wage. If anything, let's work something out. Get him away from the squad for a year or so. We'll pay the wages, and we'll sit down after that year and see if we could work on a deal. And I feel like that would be perfect for us. That's my hope of what happens. And of course, there's no way we do that all the time. We picture stuff, we imagine stuff, and then it doesn't happen. That's my personal hope.
But isn't the whole thing with Lukaku that Chelsea can't sell or loan or do any business at all until the Abramovich situation is resolved? And
Yeah.
honestly, with the reports, I can't see that happening anytime soon because they had the buyer, then the buyer left, then they have, I
Mhm.
think, a tennis player and someone else trying to buy it, but they don't know now as well. So the whole situation at Chelsea is messed up. I just
Yeah.
can't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, you're right, but I guess I'm kind of assuming that it's gonna get resolved before the summer.
Of course,
As no, as much as they've been punishing Chelsea, I think it would be very messed up if they put them in a situation where they can't even do any ins and outs in the summer. So hopefully, I think this is going to be resolved by the summer, so they could actually mess with the squad a bit.
Yeah, for me, when the rumors about Lukaku leaving to Chelsea were coming around, I was like, nah, there's no way this happens. There's no way. This
Yeah,
is like this
mhm,
is impossible. What are they talking about? It's too late in the
yeah,
transfer window. He doesn't want to leave. And I was wrong. So I have no grasp on how any kind of deal works with Lukaku, with Chelsea. I mean, that's a guy who seems to be pretty erratic in his career decisions and a club that is very erratic in their business decisions. So, I mean, anything could happen. I know it's even more of a fluid situation, like Dave mentioned and Ian, that Chelsea are, in flux ownership wise.
mhm,
So, I think everything's still on the table. I think that's about the best way to put it. I think if it's something that can be done, I'm pretty confident that Beppe Marotta is going to go out there and try to do it. Um, if it's not going to be forced because why force it?
I mean, just looking at the recent games. So this season he played 21 games, started 13 in the Prem.
mhm.
He hasn't scored since scoring away at the FA Cup against Middlesbrough. on the 19th of March, and before then it was Luton Town again, FA Cup on the 2nd of March. Do we really? Do we really?
Yes. Who would you rather have fucking Skamaka than
I'm not thinking
Lukaku?
about anyone else. I'm just trying to address this Lukaku thing.
I mean, look, he has proved to be an amazing player for us, and that was like what fucking 10 months ago, not even. So
Yeah.
like a
No.
bad season at a club that struggles and he doesn't fit in the league. I don't know why he's trying. Like I know that he's saying, "Oh, I will play for Anderlecht to end my career. I want to play for Real. I want to play for Chelsea and Inter."
Mhm.
You're a professional player. Go whatever, do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, if you want to come back to Inter or to Milano or to Italy in general to regain your form, like we signed Hakim and sold him after a year. Same with
Yeah.
Lukaku, like 2 years. He can help us and we can help him. It's a beneficial thing. As much as I
Yeah.
want him to stay for 3 years and dominate,
Mm.
if he don't want to do that, just sign him, dominate for a year, win the title again. With that, the publicity, the money you'll get as a club, and he's not injury prone. He can play 40 games or 38 games a season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I'm down for that. I don't give a fuck. Come for a year, regain your form, fuck off.
No,
In
he's
that
spitting.
time, we can get some money and sign a striker next season.
See,
Yeah,
but
he's spitting
crucial
facts. And
factors.
just
Yeah, go on, Dave.
hold on, Nika, Ian. But yeah, I wanted to piggyback off that before I lost my train of thought. But yeah, like you're saying, Risto, I agree. When you look at the alternate options, it's like Skamaka. Okay, again, I'm a big fan. I see the talent. Big 6'5" guy, 23-year-old, super technical. He could shoot the ball very well. But then again, like he's still stuck at 13 goals. Lukaku, like looking at Lukaku's stats since he started becoming a starter, he's only had one season or 2 seasons where he hasn't scored 20 goals this season, and then his second season at Man U. So that's something that you it's a guarantee, guys. Like, and okay, I'm sure we don't want to take that L, but I think it's obvious at this point that our league is much lower level than the Premier League. So yeah, if it comes for him to come to a lower level league, Farmers League, whatever you call it, for him to regain his form and bully the farmers, then hey, let us benefit from that. So that's where I'm at. Now,
Bro,
if we had somebody else lined up, like for example, I'm just saying, right? It's not like I'm even a big fan of his, or Haller, for example, a guy that he's in his prime. He's I know, Risto. I'm not a big fan, but I'm trying to make a point. He's in his prime. He's scoring 20 plus goals a season. He's firing. Okay, I'd probably be like, okay, you know what? Let's go for the guy that's firing right now. It's not a reclamation project. We will not have to really baby him, nurse him back into shape or whatever. But if the alternative is Skamaka, a kid that is still gonna take mad work, we're projecting that he will be one day a 20 goal scorer, but we don't know because he's never done it. I mean, I'll go with the guarantee any day. But go ahead, Ian. I hope you didn't forget what you were saying.
The only thing that bothers me is like, okay, so we had Conte, who has been chasing Lukaku for God knows how many years, and we
Mhm.
also had Pintus, the coach, the fitness coach, who made sure that we basically had zero injuries. Lukaku got injured at the end of October, and basically the whole November he played one game in that time, I think. I'm just looking it up now.
for Chelsea,
Um, for Chelsea. Um, and he hasn't really been the same since. He scored against Luton Town and Middlesbrough with no disrespect, but like, come on now,
but
Spezia is on the
look,
level, you know.
if the Inter board or anyone who's deciding on signing for a certain player, if they are confident that they can, regain the form that Gosens had so far. Gosens has been injured since September. That's a whole season basically. He's not able to start a single game even right now, and he's still regaining form. And if they're confident that they can bring Gosens back to life, like what's the problem with Lukaku then? I like
Gosens was still in great shape and great form before his injury, though.
Like Lukaku wasn't. Lukaku scored like fucking 60, 70 goals for us just 3 months before Gosens got injured. Gosens got injured at the beginning or the end of September, and we signed or fucked Lukaku off like month before that. So that
Yeah, but
I
Lukaku
don't
in
think
this whole season has less than 10 goals. He
so.
has 5 in the league, uh, 2 in the
But
Champions League,
you know that's
2
only
in the FA
beneficial
Cup.
to us. If he was scoring 20 goals, there wouldn't be we wouldn't be talking about us signing him on fucking loan after we sold him for 120 last summer.
Yeah.
Like
Wait, let
this
me
is a
let
fucking golden ticket, a once in a lifetime opportunity.
I wanted to jump in on this real quick for the comments that are I mean, it's a fair point. We don't have Conte anymore. We don't have Pintus anymore. Fair. But it's not like Lukaku was a bum or was an unknown before he worked with those two guys. Again, he was a monster at Everton. He was a monster at West Brom. So we know what it is. And again, we know the quality of our defenders. I have no like sometimes you're watching the game and you could literally see if you plug in Lukaku in the spot of Dzeko, we could have a goal there. Just put a guy that could run, put a guy that actually could dribble, do his little step overs or whatever. Listen, to me, I guess that's why I'm so vehemently like for it is because I think to me it would be a layup. If the guy is motivated and he does want to come back, we've seen what a motivated Lukaku is. He's a guy. He's he's full of himself. He thinks he belongs in that top five category. I guess now it's proven that he doesn't belong, but he still thinks he does. Let him think he does, and let him come and try to prove it. And I say it again, we're just gonna benefit from it.
Just to
And
be clear, I'm not
for Sean,
against Lukaku.
no, go ahead, bro.
I'm not against Lukaku. I'm just worried that we're gonna get burned on this idea or fantasy of the same Lukaku returning to us when he's been struggling physically and mentally. You know,
But
Don't you
that's the only thing.
go on, Mike?
okay, to me, I think he could still be, a guy that can contribute in the Serie A because of the way that Serie A defenses are set up, the way that he can get in behind them, the way he just slings defenders 3/4 of the way across the pitch when he wants to get to where he wants to get to. He'll still be able to do that. If we get him though, I would want him to have a full preseason at Inter to learn what Inzaghi wants, to get back into that fitness, to understand whoever his partner is going to be if it's not going to be Lautaro. I would need all of that before I feel like he would be the player that he was before. He can do it, but it's going to take work, and it's going to take a proactive deal to happen. If we rush it at the end of the window because Chelsea can't find anybody to take his just take his playing time, I feel like it may not go as well, at least in the first few months.
I
Yeah, I
think
agree.
I think even a bad version of Lukaku, or at least a worse version of Lukaku than he was last year at Inter, is still a better player than any striker that is available for us on the market. Because we have to make like what was the report, like 50, 60 million, I think.
Great point. Great point. I
And
had to. I'm sorry. I was taking care of some business. I had to run. I ran across the room to come agree with you. Great point. I agree. Like even the version of Lukaku we're watching right now at Chelsea, he's better than
any
Zeko.
available striker for us,
And any realistic option
target.
for us. You know.
Yeah. Even if we sell Lukaku or sorry, Lautaro for like 80 million, let's say we are able to. I'm jumping from one point to another. My point was that if we sell Lukaku or Lautaro, we cannot sign a player for that same amount of money. Just like it was the case with Hakimi, we
Mhm.
sold him and we signed 15 million Dumfries.
Dumfries. Yeah.
So let's say we can sign like a striker that's worth 30 million. Who's available in the market? Fucking Raspadori is worth 50.
Give
Skamak
us
is
some
worth
names in the
40.
comments, guys. Give us some names in the comment.
So that's my main problem. Like, I'm down for selling him, but if that means, signing a proper player or some unknown Argentine that I haven't seen yet, some wonder kid. You know, I'll say it again. I trust the board, but I think, as I said, a bad version of Lukaku is still a better version than any other striker that is available for us on the market.
Yeah, yeah. My perfect in the perfect world, the perfect scenario would be we get him on a 2 year loan. You know, and I'm sure he'll come good and we'll benefit from it. And let's say that he doesn't. By the time 2 years come, I'm sure there's gonna be the next hyped up young Italian kid that everybody is saying is the next best thing that we could go after. Players pop up like players pop up every year, So
Mhm. And especially strikers.
yeah, yeah.
Like
I mean,
we all agree that it's harder for us. I think we all agreed, and we spoke about that at least on Twitter when there was a debate for Hakim. Oh, sorry, for Skriniar and Dombele and whatnot. Like it's much harder to find a an amazing defender than it is to find a average midfielder. And I was opposing that idea from the get go, and
mm,
it shows like this comment by Sean, which he says, and then we miss out on a prospective striker because Belotti will have a new team. I don't agree that Belotti is a prospective striker, especially not in the past fucking 3 years. He hasn't been relevant, and in that time, Fratesi and went from being a kid to sign for Juventus and Inter. So 3 years in Italy or in football in general is a lot of time.
yeah. I mean,
Scamacca
we don't even have to say Fratesi. We could say the guy that in question, Scamacca, who was talking about Scamacca around the same time last year as a potential player for a top team. No, he had a couple flashes. We're like, oh, that's a guy that, yeah, but he went
wasn't
to,
he
but
wasn't
we
even
were,
starting for Genoa, bro.
he wasn't. And the thing about Skamaka, I remember it quite well. The talk about him, like, yeah, big talented guy, but yeah, he went to Holland and failed. He this, he that, but nobody was talking about him. That's how fast it happens. That's how fast you could rise and how fast you could sink. Remember when that kid, the 17-year-old kid in Serie
Pellegrini,
B, no, Luca, I think his name is.
Lorenzo
Oh,
Luca.
fuck that guy.
That guy, yeah.
I thought you said
He's
Pellegrini.
he was what 6'7". Oh, he scored a couple goals. Everybody was
Yeah.
on his dick to a point where people were even talking about he's about to sign to Juve. Maybe Mancini should give him a call. And then guess what? Kid hasn't scored. He hasn't scored since, and nobody's talking about him. That's how football works. I understand the feeling of potentially missing out on the prospect that you falling in love with, but there's gonna be another one. Right now, Lukaku, I feel like he's still a guarantee for what we're trying to do. We're in a situation now where let's be even more honest. Where Milan are about to get purchased, they're about to work themselves into a better situation than us. We can't be looking at prospective strikers that we're gonna work on for a couple years. We're in a win now mode. I feel like we should secure this Scudetto this year if we can, and then see if we can win it again next year before the money start flowing in. Because if the news is true, then soon they should be building up a team that is going to be challenging us much closer than they are right now.
Yeah. Um, Now we've taken the turn to Milan getting bought, which is true. It's just a little scary to think about because
Mm,
I'm used to those guys kind of
yeah.
fumbling around.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's talk on it because I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but shout out to Uncle Sharma. We shout him out about every episode. He had a question for us when we asked him the topics that they wanted us to discuss today, and Uncle Sharma's question was pretty much how do we feel about Milan's purchase? How do you guys feel like it would affect us, and pretty much your thoughts on it? What do you guys think?
I mean, I've seen that.
You guys in the comments as well, please.
I've seen that these guys that want to come in and buy them aren't necessarily like coming in like the way that the Qataris came in on PSG or anything like that. I mean,
Mhm.
it's another like fund that is very similar to what Elliot is for Milan right now. So I mean, I could see them, of course, getting, that first influx of new cash where they're like, all right, we just bought you, go buy yourself something nice. And they get a couple of nice players that first window. Maybe they stick, maybe they have a João Mario, Gabriel Barbosa situation. Who knows? But
Bro, they had the same situation with Andres Silva, and they bought like 250 million euros worth of
Or
players.
for
And
players, yeah.
yeah,
if
yeah.
there's
I
one
mean,
player, if there's one team that I trust with money as an Inter fan, that is Milan.
yeah, I mean, it's not just how much money you have, it's who's spending it. I mean, if you've got
Exactly.
guys like Beppe Marotta spending your money, you're in good shape. If you've got guys like Mirabelli and
And
Fasone
Paso
spending your
Paso
money,
Bene, you know,
yeah, Fasobelli spending your money,
Paso.
you're not getting the bang for your buck. So, yeah, I
Mm.
agree with Risto there.
Here's how I feel. Um, I don't feel much different than when they were getting bought by Elliott. Um, because exactly like you said, Mikey. What from what I've heard, it's not like a fund that's gonna come in like, okay, we wanna go and we're passionate about football. We want to pump in as much money as we're allowed to, just to make Milan great again, and just we don't care how much profit we make or if we don't make profit, because PSG and City, they were running at a loss in the beginning because of all the transfers, and they weren't really bringing in that much money. But from what I'm hearing, they are pretty much similar to Elliott, and they just want to invest a little more. I don't know if that 300 M, if it's true, because that's something that we would definitely need to be worrying about, because it's not the same thing like you mentioned, Mikey, with Fasobelli, where they could come in and just you see them shopping from players all over the place, where it doesn't really look like they have a direction. They're signing Bonucci from Juve out of nowhere because Bonucci was unhappy, stuff like that. This time they have a project. They've had a project for 2 years now. We see their plan. We see what they've been doing. They've made sacrifices to stick to that project by losing Hakan, by losing the Donnarumma, and they're about to lose Kessie as well. So they have a direction that they're going to. So
What do you
if
think is that direction? What's the main point of that direction? Because
the
I think losing like five of your best players in a team, that's a fucking
Mhm.
half of the starting 11 for free, and every single
Yeah.
one of them was worth at least 30 to 40 million. That's like that's inexcusable. Any
Mm.
other
No, no, I
then
agree.
any other sporting director would have been sacked by now.
Yeah, I mean the
I
only
agree.
upgrade or not even upgrade, but player that has performed on the same level as the guy that left for free has been Magnon.
Yeah, and nobody saw that coming. But to answer your question, Risto, their direction they're going in is they're going for young, super talented players with upside. They've been doing that with a situation where they can't spend money. Now, if they can spend money now, then they could probably still go for the same profile, but they'll have money to get the best in the world. Like, for example, if they get Nkuku, that's a guy that I feel like he can definitely impact them, because it's a guy that's what 30 plus goal contributions in the season right now. uh Something like that. Is there's tiers to players. When you could get a B-rated player, a B-rated youngster, like, okay, maybe he blows up, maybe he doesn't. That's different than when you have money and you could get a A+ rated youngster, and you know for
But
sure that's a
but
crack.
who's the player that you are like at Milan? Who's like, oh yeah, he's a fucking 8 year talent. Like,
I mean,
what if their project
eight.
is signing
Oh,
young players?
I can tell you, bro. I mean, Leao is definitely an A-tier talent.
Okay, besides him, let's
Now,
say he's the
hold
only
on,
one.
hold on. Tonali is an A-tier talent because Tonali is 21 years old still. Okay, Tomori is an A-tier talent. Okay, no. Listen to what we're saying. A-tier talent. We're not talking about work. We're not saying they're world-class players or world beaters. But when you're looking at their talents and their age, Yeah, those guys are A-tier talents, and those are guys that could potentially become world-class players if they're developed the right way. So yeah, I said those two. One, two. I'm not that sold on Kalulu yet because it's still early, but those three,
Come on,
and
Kalulu world class talent.
And Teo as well. You know, so they have five A plus. I mean, A-tier talents, guys that could become big players in the world. So yeah, we got to show respect to their project, and that's the only thing that honestly that worries me a little bit. It's like, damn, how about if now they can go and get the best youngsters in the world now? You know, like because nobody was expecting Kalulu to start playing well. Tomori was a Chelsea throwaway, for example. Teo is a Real Madrid
Wow, come
throwaway.
on.
So
He was not a throwaway. Like 35, they paid like 30 million for him. That's not a throwaway. We haven't
Not to
spent 30
Chelsea,
million
that
on a.
is.
I mean, it is a throwaway because
Come
at the end of the
on.
day, I'm sure like they're regretting it now because they're about to lose two of their center backs in Rudiger and Christensen. But yeah, it was a
Yeah,
throwaway.
that's
They
pretty quite
let
okay.
him leave, and Aspie as well. Yeah, and they let him leave because they felt like they were fine in that position and they had better players. So yeah, I guess that's why I called it a throwaway. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was my long-winded way of saying, yeah, that's how I feel about Milan. I feel like so far we got nothing to worry about. Clearly, we saw 2 days ago on the pitch we're still the superior team, and if the rumors are right, we might yet even improve this team in the summer. So I feel like in the immediate future, there's nothing really to worry about. But in 5 6 years, they should be starting to pay dividends.
But look,
Who's
like I think like football sport in general is very, interchangeable. And there are a lot of variables. If it was any other sporting director other than Maldini, he would have been sacked by now. Losing Donnarumma, uh,
Well,
fucking,
no. Hold on. I'm gonna let you finish. I
no,
don't think so because he lost them in line with what his bosses want. You know what I mean? Like his bosses pretty much tell him offer this guy this amount
no.
and don't go
Uh,
further than that. So it's pretty much him saying, okay, you know what? It's I don't.
I have,
That's,
Dave, I
mm,
absolutely agree with you. But he said that he was leaving like 2 years before he actually left. They knew that. It wasn't a secret. Like we were talking about signing Donnarumma as a free agent like two
yeah.
seasons ago, and we were all saying like Donnarumma will be a free agent next year, so we should prepare towards that. Juventus was preparing towards that, and they're not able to communicate with the player. So
I mean,
it was like um. So go on.
go ahead, because I'll
Like
make my point
Donnarumma
after.
is one of those players,
Mm.
right? Who other was that left?
Hakan.
Hakan,
Kessie.
because he is leaving
Kessie
this
is
year.
gonna leave, yeah, to Barcelona
Barcelona.
most probably. If
Hmm.
they would have sold him like 2 seasons ago, how much money would have they gotten? Like 30,
Yeah,
40 at least?
yeah. At least
Hakan as well. He
same
came
thing.
to Inter and most probably will win the league. Those are at least three world class players, no matter how much we can agree on one or another. The stats is one thing. He wore the number 10 for a reason at such an important club. And he was an amazing player for what they had. Like they are overperforming for a few years now. Giroud is not gonna last for more than this season. Ibrahimovic is already gone, like last season. I don't know why they even extended the contract. Alexis Salem fucking Makers is starting, and Messias, fucking rail war workers. Come on.
No, okay. Listen,
It's so
I hear, I hear,
inspirational.
I hear what you're saying. I hear you loud and clear. But you've literally pointing out the holes in that squad. Milan, in my opinion, they're four starters away from really giving us issues. And then we
But
It's a
and
four
then
fantasy
and then
team.
we,
starters,
I'm
It's
bro,
half the team.
we are four starters away from winning the Champions League. First,
no
four starters.
no.
Come
Don't
on,
know
Listen,
Mike.
about that
hold on,
one, Chief.
Come on, bro.
hold on, Risto,
Four
hold on
starters
now,
is
bro.
half the team.
Risto, hold on. I mean, you know me, bro. We can definitely get into it. I got time. So okay, let's talk about Milan first, and then we talk about us. Milan, I feel like I don't know. They said that they already got Botman, who's a top talent as a center back. No, no, Ian. Okay,
Botman's not confirmed.
it's not. I
Botman's
mean,
nowhere
no,
near.
but the rumors, Fabrizio Romano is saying that is close. Okay, let's assume. Okay, let's assume it
Fabrizio.
Let's
happens.
assume. Okay.
Okay, however you guys feel, let's assume for the sake of argument, right?
Okay.
They
Okay.
get Botman. They're gonna have Botman, Tomori, Theo on the left. Okay, so let's say they need a right back. So that's one of the players they need, right? Their double pivot is set. Tonali and Benacer, they're more than good enough, in my
Benacer
opinion.
is more than injury prone. Like he can play every.
We're
He's like
talking
the Algerian
we're
Sensi.
talking about
So I,
starters, but this season he's been pretty good as far as the injuries. He has missed some time, but better than the season before and all that stuff. But we're talking about the
Give me
starters, okay,
3
right? So there,
seconds. I'll pull up the stats. Just give me 3 seconds.
go ahead. So yeah, their double pivot is fine in my opinion with Tonali and Benacer, right? Their left wing is fine with Leao. Okay, so they need a 10. They need a 9, and they need a right winger. So four
this
starters right there. And if we're talking about 300 millions, you don't think that could be solved with 300 million? Come on, Risto. Let's be honest here. I feel like if they can get quality players at those four positions that we mentioned,
but
they're a
Dave, it's not about the money. Like Mike pointed out, the best way. It's not about the money. It's about who's gonna spend that money. Like we're
yeah.
talking about a club that has spent so much money on like waste players, both for Inter and for them. They are not able to spend
Well,
money. Bottom point.
not Maldini and Masara. Come on. What you
Oh,
talk? You're
come
still
on,
talking about
Dave.
stuff that happened 3 years ago. Risto. We know who's in charge right now. We know who's spending the money, and we see how they spent it. So that's what we should go by. You're still stuck on the money that they wasted. It's not the same guy in charge. It's a whole different team. That's what I'm saying. I wish. I don't. There's nobody out here that would love for them to get the money and blow it for me to make fun of them. But let's be realistic here.
So just who? How many players do you think are Inter away from being a world class team, or on the same level? If Milan needs four, how many do Inter need?
To be a world class team.
A whole
Uh,
bench.
I mean, I didn't say for Milan to be a world class team. They needed four. I said for them to really be competing with us. So a team that you could expect to win the league. That's what I meant. But if we're talking about us, for us to be world class, I think we need. If we could have Lukaku and Dybala next year up top. Um, I feel like Hakan's position we can do better there, and also Dumfries' position we can do better there. Then yeah, we have a world class team. So I'll say three players. We're three
Need
players
the
from having a
depth.
team.
Come,
Yeah,
All right. So
yeah.
assuming
3 players plus depth away from having a team that we could say, yeah, we could win the Champions League.
three, only three.
Three
Hey, come on.
starters.
Three
Three starters? Yeah, because I mean, the back three. I mean, unless you're talking about adding Bremer, which I feel like is pretty likely to happen. So let's
agreed.
say Bremer's added.
But
Onana's
still,
already in.
but
So we're
still,
not
hold,
counting
hold
those.
on,
Not counting those two. So we're
hold
counting
on,
the
hold on.
outstanding issues.
Hold on. We can't count Bremer as a. I don't know if we could count Bremer as a upgrade over De Vrij. I mean, I feel like they're the same level of player,
Not even an
right?
Okay.
upgrade. Like
Okay.
there's been
Even
rumors of
better.
him
And
going
then
to the
that's
Prem.
interchangeable. That doesn't matter too much.
Exactly. So I feel like
Okay.
our center
So
backs are already fine.
yeah, yeah. I
Don't you
mean, it's
think
totally
Bremer
world class back
will
three.
would be an upgrade on De Vrij?
It'd be a different profile.
He wouldn't be the elegant ball player to carry the ball out of defense that De Vrij is. De Vrij is the link up between the goalkeeper, the midfield, and then sometimes the attack. Bremer, is he that type of player? I don't think he is.
So if you want to, Bremer is more like what Skriniar looks like when he plays in the middle for us, like an
I think
immovable check.
I think
Go ahead.
just remember the conversation. I think, as Mike said, Bremer, I think, is almost a certain Inter. I think De Vrij will leave the club for a Premier League side, or I don't know, Barcelona or someone like that. And I think Bremer will be like, I just have the feeling. I have the feeling. I think me and you I actually agree, Dave, that he has the same like stature as Koulibaly has. Like he has something that is an X factor. I don't know what
Yeah,
that is. It's just the composer, the composure
the
that he has
calmness.
as a
Yeah.
player,
Mhm.
and like the other players are afraid of him. At least in the past 3 months, he has been the best defender in Serie A without a doubt.
No, I agree.
And I think he's the next big thing. He has been amazing last season, and this season has been even better. We signed Skriniar after he received what was it? One of the he was among the worst transfers for Sampdoria, and he has
Hmm.
been the best defender that we have had in a long time. So a defense with Skriniar, Bastoni, and Bremer,
Hmm.
with Barella and Brozovic as anchors in front of him. No one
Hmm.
can compete with that. Like no one.
Okay, but make your point. So, how many
Need
players you're
strikers.
saying that we? Yeah,
New strikers. That's it.
that's
If you consider Botman as an Inter player or as a Milan player, I would say Bremer even more sure will be an Inter player than only the two
no.
strikers.
I agree. I'm confident about. So you're saying that if we get two strikers, we're a team that could already compete for the in the Champions League, or I mean, of course, go further, but we're talking about competing to win it. Like,
Look, I think going further in Champions League is a goal,
mhm.
but it's a very situational environment, especially the Champions League, because like we saw Tottenham, they barely beat us, and they reached the Champions League final.
That's a very
They
good point.
played like Ajax and like bump teams that don't have like three quality players. It's just pure
They
luck.
did beat City though that season.
If like
Yeah,
one team out of like four, that's
yeah.
like a golden ticket. If that was us, we would have been playing City, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and then fucking I don't know Liverpool. It just
Hey,
like
we beat
that's.
Liverpool 1-0 away with dead Alexis Sanchez who got a red and an out of form Lautaro. So
I do
That's
think
true.
that, as Mike said, like the bench is the most important factor. Like two starters, two attackers. If we sell Lautaro, and
Mhm.
then just focus on the bench because I just cannot watch Gallardini and Vecino and Vidal coming off the
Mm.
bench. It's like
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, not even the bench in general, just the midfield options off the bench. And I guess it's encouraging because we've been hearing a lot of rumblings. They Inzaghi all but guaranteed that we are going to bring in a Vice Brozo in the summer. So hopefully, it's a player that we all like and agree on. We've been linked to Fratesi all season, so that's probably a guy that hopefully he does come in. And we need another guy on the left to compete with Hakan, a creative guy. I would love for us to bring in Ceballos on a loan type of deal. And matter of fact, what do you guys think about Lilian Thuram's son? Because that's the latest rumor that came out. I don't know anything about him. I've seen some
yeah,
YouTube
I have
videos.
no clue. I know he's at like Nice or somewhere, and I think he's what like 19. I mean, that's just Agume number two, I guess. Maybe we're looking at selling Agume this summer. Maybe
no,
that's
I fucking forgot about Aguma, bro.
Yeah,
He has been
it's very
amazing.
possible. It's very possible, Mikey, because Marseille like him, Lyon like him, and there were rumors that if we could get anything close to 2025, then we would do it. So I personally don't want it, but it's
There's no worse club than Inter for selling players. With the exception of Lukaku, we are awful at selling players. Selling Agume for the same price we bought injury-prone Sensi is madness. Like the
yeah.
composure that Agume had last season in the friendlies, he has zero appearances for the first club. He was playing at Sochaux, like 17 or 18, second division. He came to
Uh,
Inter playing with, I don't know, City and who knows on. His composure on the ball is next level. That's something that you don't learn. Either you have it or you don't. And he has it.
yeah, yeah. But the
That's it.
thing is, at this point of his career, what he is right now, which is like a 20-year-old, is still very raw, makes plenty of mistakes still.
Bro,
25 million from him right now
the,
is fair, and
no.
yes,
Bro,
it
Borussia
is.
Dortmund, I'm not saying it's not fair. I'm saying we shouldn't sell him. Jude Bellingham,
I
look
agree.
at
I
Borussia.
agree. I agree.
Borussia, like some 17-year-old player, German player, scored for them like last week, and Jude Bellingham is like 19, 18. They paid 35 for him. Like we shouldn't sell those players. We should learn from our mistakes. He has been amazing. We signed him for a
Bro,
very
listen,
low
Risto, we're broke. We need money. Okay, so
Lautaro.
what you're talking about stuff like hold on to players that waiting for him to develop. This is not the reality right now. Let's be realistic. It's either we start being okay with them selling or beloved starters, or just being okay with them cashing in on kids that are promising. And I'll take the latter anytime. That's literally what it is. That's why we lost. That's kind of like why we're probably gonna sell Satriano as well. We're probably gonna sell Esposito and stuff like that. It's gonna be Auxilio's new Plus Valenza formula, just selling youngsters.
I just I don't know. I have some strong opinions about that. If you're if you have to sell players and do that for like multiple first team players, we shouldn't be even near the top. We shouldn't be disappointed when we are like fourth, fifth, because if you are selling your top players constantly, you shouldn't be near the top, and we will not be. Look at what Juventus is doing. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about expectations. If they're
Mhm.
able to spend 100 million in the winter, I don't care. You should be competing for the league. They spent 90 or 80 something 90 for Vlahovic in January. That doesn't happen in Italy, in the world for that matter. I don't care. And if you are selling players constantly, last season we sold like the two best players in Hakimi and Lukaku, and on top of that, Conte. We shouldn't be near the top. It's only Beppe and the other management team that is responsible for this, because they are able to replace those players in the best way possible. That will not be possible without them. Signing
Yeah, of course,
Inzaghi,
of
who
course. I mean,
Juventus were interested in, signing Dumfries, who had an amazing Euros for the Netherlands, and signing Dzeko, Finnish Dzeko, who Mourinho didn't want at Roma, and now is gonna win the league with Inter. It's just
yeah.
pure luck. That doesn't happen twice.
No,
And I'm
no, I
just
agree.
worried about the expectations. And if they say, "Oh, we're not winning the league and we're casting them week in week out next season," like I'll not be doing that. If they say our goal is to achieve top four, that should be realistic. If they are not signing anyone, but if they sign Lukaku and Dybala, that's a completely other thing. I'm just talking buts and ifs, but we are just comparing the two parallels for the next season.
Yeah.
It's just my own opinion.
No, I mean I think it's really just gonna depend on what we do. At the end of the day, let's wait and see uh, when the mercato closes what the squad looks like. But my expectations are not gonna go down. I'll tell you that much. Like I'm still gonna be expecting us to be competing for the Scudetto because I feel like we said that a long time. Um, this squad is in a window where most of our best players are 25, 26, 27. you know, most of our best players. So I expect us to be up there for at least another 3 years, even if they're selling one top player a season. So by the time for us to really make that plunge, hopefully Suning finds a way to sell us, or maybe the finances change. But yeah, that's how I feel. That's why I'm kind of confident. Like we got Barella 24, Lotaro, if we keep him 24, Skriniar 26, 27. you know, um, Bastoni's 21, 22, a baby. If we bring in Bremer 24, 25, like we're still right there. Brozovic is 29, Hakan 27. We're right there. Dumfries 26. So we're right there in that window where we should be able to continue competing. So if they don't dismantle the squad too much, I expect us to be competing for a third Scudetto next year. Well, hopefully we get this one this year, and we're competing for a third next year.
Yeah, I agree with Dave here. But I just want to get in here and say that here in a few minutes, I am going to drop off. I'm going to be in producer mode. I'm just going to take my camera off and not be speaking, but I'll be pulling up comments, whatever we need. So Yeah, I'll just go ahead and put my last thoughts in. Christo went the most depressing way possible. Doomsday Christo. From Christo the Success Stand to Doomsday, but yeah, I mean, we can survive on like one sale. But if we're talking about selling the farm, if we're talking about going like full Roma, yeah, that would
Yeah.
be a problem.
Absolutely.
Even it's even caught up to Atalanta. Look at them this season. So maybe after this window, we're after this season will be 2023, 3 years removed from COVID. Well, the peak of COVID, I'll say.
Mhm.
And hopefully by then, finances have evened back out.
Yeah, because
So
stuff
that's what I'm hoping for.
stuff happens out of nowhere. I don't remember there were any rumors that Milan might get sold. It just happened out of nowhere. So if who knows if Zhang just gets the right offer, and then next thing you know, we're the ones getting sold. One last point I wanted to add as well, because I have to go as well. We just renewed Beppe, Osilio, and Antonello for how many years? For 3 years, right? So they got contracts now to 2025. So for the next 3 years, I expect us to be up there competing. So that's the strength of the team right there. I feel like those three, they're gonna make sure that we have a competitive squad as long as they're around. Now, if they're gone after that and stuff like that, so it could start. But I'm confident for the next 3 years.
All right. Well, that's two of us that have to head out. So, yeah, I'm just gonna close it here. I actually do kind of have to go kind of quickly. I hate to end it so abruptly, but yeah, it looks bad. But thanks everyone, for being here. It's a great busy chat. I know we didn't get to the comments like we usually do.
Yeah.
We just had a lot
Yeah,
to
sorry
say
about
today.
that.
Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
lot to say today.
We rambled a lot today.
Yeah, which is good. You know what? We gotta have some conversations. You gotta have a little bit of spice in there sometimes. Risto
Absolutely.
brought that today, so Risto, glad to have you back. Dave, Ian, as always. Thanks everyone in the chat. And we'll see you all in the next one.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Risto said he wanted me to play out the outro, so here we go.
Brothers and sisters of the world.